can press availability in response to the governor's state of the state. We'll try to be a little shorter than what the Senate was. There's a lot of people we have here that would probably like to say a few words, and we'll give them all an opportunity, and we'll be open for questions. We have a hand mic that will be passed around for everybody back there, and also for the people up here. I'll start it out by thanking the governor for doing his State of the State tonight. I'm glad that it was well watched statewide. And I just have I'll start the remarks out by being very short and thanking the governor very much for his response to the pandemic that struck us nearly a year ago. Put together and worked tirelessly for the whole last year. Alaska didn't meet what was predicted with 10,000 deaths and the amount of people that were going to be affected. That team worked tirelessly to make sure that we did the right things to slow down that spread and to save lives. And I want to thank the governor for that response and his team's response, and all of the workers that worked tirelessly in the hospitals. And those people are the ones that saved lives and helped Alaskans to move forward. And I'm going to let that go from there. We'll be as short as we can, but your turn, Kathy Tilton.
Thank you, Representative Thompson. Just real quickly, I'll introduce the representatives that we have here in the room. We have Representative Prox, Representative McCabe, Representative Rauscher, Representative Rasmussen, Representative LeBon, Representative Thompson, myself, Representative Tilton, Representative Nelson, Representative Shaw, Representative McCarty, Representative Cronk, Representative McKay, Representative Johnson, and Representative Kaufman are here with us sitting at the table today. I would just echo the words of Representative Thompson regarding thanking the workers who have tirelessly worked on protecting people during these difficult times. I am especially looking forward to returning Alaska's capital to Alaskans, and am really looking forward to getting to that point. I enjoyed the optimism that the governor put forward for how he sees our state moving forward in our economy, and especially looking forward to the long-term fiscal solutions. And specifically for myself, that's the constitutional spending limit, which is something that I think is a key component to putting together a long-term fiscal solution for Alaskans. Also, we are very independent people here in Alaska, and with that independence, we have a lot of ingenuity and a lot of private business people, and I'm looking forward also to what we can do with regulation review and getting rid of some of those burdensome regulations. Another part of the economy that I'm excited to see what the bill looks like as it comes forward with the bond package, and whether that bond package includes items for roads to resources and energy upgrades, and that I'm looking forward to all of us working together, that it's not just special interest projects for each one of us, but it is something that puts us forward on a sustainable pathway forward for long term. And with that, I'll just go ahead and allow my other colleagues to speak.
Representative LeBon. Thank you, Representative Tilton.
And thank you, Representative Thompson, and to echo Representative Tilton's comments about the bond package and creating access to our resources. I thoroughly enjoyed the governor's comments about resource development. He's spot on correct that Alaska does it right. We need to be able to develop our own resources as a state. The state needs to create wealth, and we do that best when we can develop our resources. We're entering a difficult period with the current administration in Washington. They're not going to be supportive of Alaska developing its resources. So we got to be assertive of our rights to develop our resources. I thoroughly support the governor and his comments regarding developing our resources. And I also am excited that he's created an emphasis on education, not just K-12, but our university, training nurses to help with the COVID emergency, and also the ability of the university to help with economic development through research dollars, helping move our state forward with educating our young people so the next generation is ready to move the state forward. And with that, I guess I will pass the mic on back to you, Representative Thompson.
We'll move on around the table. Representative Rasmussen.
Yeah, I echo, I guess, the comments of my colleagues, and I'm excited that the governor and our team has such an emphasis on pushing back on the unnecessary mandates and executive orders from the new incoming Biden administration. I think that another important component of the governor's address tonight focused on continuing our work on crime, and we worked hard the last 2 years to repeal Senate Bill 91, ramping up prosecution of those who commit sexual assault and domestic violence crimes is especially important to me as a mother and a woman in Alaska. I think it's crucial for us to find innovative ways to protect Alaskan women and children, and establishing a major crimes unit focused on these issues is a great first step to move forward.
Thank you, Representative Rasmussen. Representative Raucher.
Yeah, thank you, Representative Thompson. Yeah, I really appreciate the governor, the message that he put out today. I think it was a very strong message. We talked about self-reliance. We talked about strengthening our ability in self-reliance, whether it's agriculture and mariculture, whether it's reduction in red tape, whether we're talking about regulations, we're talking about all the things that are hampering those industries from moving forward. And I also appreciate the fact that he brought out our low COVID numbers. We are some of the lowest numbers in the country. I appreciated the fact that hard work is working in that respect, and I also I do appreciate the fact that the governor has taken such a value to resource development in the state of Alaska. I think it's part of our future. It's part of it's brought the permanent fund where it is, and it continues to do so.
Thank you, Representative Rasmussen. I'm going to continue around the table. Representative McCabe.
Thanks, Representative Thompson. I like the fact that the governor is and always has been, no matter what's going on, a champion of Alaska and Alaskans. He unwaveringly is our biggest fan and our biggest cheerleader. I also like the food security aspect. My district, it's very important, and I think that we spend way too much money outside of Alaska on our food and our food security and securities for Alaskans. So I like that he has a focus on that. I'm encouraged by his speech, and I'm encouraged by his outlook. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Prax.
Thank you, Representative Thompson. I really enjoyed the governor's speech, and I echo the sentiment there. His optimistic outlook. He approached this COVID emergency really with optimism. He gave Alaska guidance. Alaskans stepped up to the plate. That was great. I also appreciate his outlook on Alaska's opportunity. It's more than just cash in the bank that he wants to depend on, that we should depend on. He wants to make other opportunities available, take advantage of the real permanent fund in Alaska, which is our resources and our people that are willing to develop them to do the job right. We've got the extractive resources world needs. We have renewable resources that we need to manage and make opportunities available for our children. That's the real permanent fund. I think the governor's behind that, and I'm certainly behind that. And I think District 3 was one of the biggest supporters of Governor Dunleavy over both general election 2 years ago and this election as well.
Thank you, Representative Prax. We'll move on around the table to Representative Kaufman.
Thank you, Representative Thompson. I think just to sum it up, we have a tremendous challenge that we've been hit with, but we have incredible opportunity, and it's time to grasp it. So I say, let's go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Johnson.
Thank you. So obviously the state of the state right now is challenged, but we see oftentimes when you have the biggest challenges, you have the biggest resilience, and Alaskans step up to that. I appreciated the governor's hopefulness, his reflection, and one of the things that's really stood out was his concern about continuing to move Alaska forward in a positive way, but his concern about federal overreach and how that has really came to fruition in these last few days as a number of the executive orders have came out. So I'm looking forward to working with the governor, working to find out how we can promote private investment and push back to stand for our independence here in Alaska.
Thank you, Representative Johnson. I'm going to move next to Representative Kronk.
Thank you, Representative Thompson. I just echo the sentiment of my fellow representatives here. I think this was a very good speech by the governor. I enjoyed his optimism and his ideas that he brought forward. We all are here to move forward, and I believe we are a great team here to accept these challenges for the people of Alaska. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to move then to back row. Representative McKay.
Thank you, Representative Thompson. I'm a freshman legislator this year, and I can tell you that I've gotten to know the group of people in this room as being some of the greatest people I've ever gotten to work with. I know that they're absolutely devoted to the future of Alaska, and I look forward to working with them, the governor's team, and the Senate on getting us out of this terrible year of 2020 and getting our businesses and our restaurants and everything back up and running, get our kids back in school as quickly as possible, and get us back on the right track. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative McKay. Representative McCarty.
Thank you, Representative Thompson. That we have a really difficult situation that we're in. I appreciate many things that the governor was sharing, looking at the aspect of dealing with crime, or the aspect of domestic violence and sexual assault and such, to make improvements on that. And I look at our fellow Alaskans, that we're tough individuals to overcome challenges. And that issue of domestic violence is based on power and control. And for us to take control of our state in having the ability to do the different things in the workforce and creative ideas, I think that that's important, that the federal government recognizes that and doesn't become abusive to the state in doing what we do best.
Representative Shaw, you're next.
Thank you, Representative Thompson. I appreciate the governor's optimism, and more than anything, I appreciate the fact that he's a realist, and we can no longer kick the can down the road. We've been doing it long enough. We can no longer afford just to be where we've been, and we have to look to the future. So I'm looking forward to the values of his speech and how we're going to continue to improve, not only on providing service to the best of our ability, but taking care of the population, the state of Alaska, and give the state of Alaska the services that they deserve with public safety and education. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Shaw. Representative Nelson, excuse me.
Thank you, Representative Thompson. One aspect of the governor's state that really I took an interest in was his commitment to more efficient and cheaper power, energy independence across Alaska. You know, not just for the road system, but for all of Alaska. That's going to spark the economic interest of the state and move us forward in the right direction.
Thank you. Before we go to questions, I wanted to make another couple of quick comments. I want the people to know out there that as Republicans, we're working very hard to get organized. We have been in contact with the other party in our House of Representatives, and we have been trying to get this moved forward. We've put up a Speaker pro tem that they have decided to not vote for, so we keep working daily trying to get this organization put together, because without being organized. We can't do the people's work. We can't work on the budget or bills. So we want to get going, and we're trying our best, and we will continue to do that also. I want to thank the governor because he had some very strong, good points in there. A lot of them had some dollars hooked to them, but each one will be going through the process that we have set up. We all have a process we go through, and we will hear all of those items, the additions and the reductions. And we're excited to work with the governor, and we're excited to work with the body, the Senate, on the other side. We look forward to that. And so we'll open it now up to questions. Mr. Landfield.
I was wondering if the group supports the $5,000 dividend and the $5 million drop in the earnings reserve, and if so, are you concerned about spending down the earnings reserve like the legislature spent on the constitutional budget reserve over the past 7 or 8 years?
We really don't want to see that overdraw on the earnings reserve, but that process is what we'll be addressing once we start to, or we get organized and we start to have committee hearings. There's a process on everything that we have to do, and that will be addressed and heard from. We'll be listening to our own caucus people, we'll be listening to the public, and we'll also be listening to the financial people to give us advice on what this would do to the permanent fund earnings if we did that. So it's a process that we'll be going through.
Andrew Kitchenman, Alaska Public Media and KTOO. For any member, I'm interested in any member's thoughts on the governor's proposal for increased funding for homeschooling.
Representative Prax.
I'm all for it. My wife and I homeschooled our 2 sons. It was a lot of fun. I think that there's just a lot of opportunity there for more Alaskans to become involved in their own child's education, and that helps their children, and it helps everyone else in the state, so I'm all for it.
Go ahead, Andrew.
For Representative Thompson, is your caucus open to a power sharing agreement in which neither caucus has the traditional power of a majority, but that they would share power?
We aren't there yet, Andrew. We're not in favor of that. It makes it very cumbersome and has not worked well in past many years ago. So we're still struggling trying to get put together as a bipartisan caucus. We've invited people, we have talked with them, and we really want to get this settled so we can go to work.
Representatives Thompson and LeBon, what changed with the election for you guys to go away from the prior House Majority Coalition?
I'll let you start there.
Yeah, I would suggest that we didn't go away from the prior coalition, but we're trying to, as Republicans, find a middle ground that we could form a 25-member majority that is effective and can work together. And who all is in that majority, be it Republicans, Independents, or Democrats, that's our goal.
I could say that's our story and we're sticking to it. I think we're about done. I wanted to thank Andrew very much. He's our moderator. Thank you for being here tonight. And any last closing remarks? Seeing none, thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Just going to make this one really brief, not very long. There's House Republicans and a couple of Democrats there talking tonight, describing the state of the state address given by Governor Dunleavy and how they felt about it. It's remarkable that not a single major news network other than KTOO was airing this tonight. I did not see them go live on Facebook. This was only found on the Gavel to Gavel website. So I hope y'all don't forget to like and share. I understand the Senate was a little bit earlier. I will work to see about trying to get that one live streamed tonight also. So again, look for it. It should be coming up here, I hope, shortly. Depends on how fast they load things up. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Go to my website, Politadick.com. Click that support button. Everything, make sure that goes right back into making sure I can be able to do these kind of things every time they have something that's worth watching and needing to be seen by Alaskans. Have a great night.